Welcome to a new week of SAT TV News. I'm Alicia George. Thanks for joining us. We hope you had a wonderful weekend. In our top stories this news time, UWP promises to reduce taxes if elected to government. Prospective entrepreneurs encouraged to register for Well retreat. From the region, Rowley calls on Trinidad government to explain presence of Defense Force reserves. And internationally, world leaders prepare to battle ISIS. In sports, Wolfpack advances to volleyball finals. Details of these and other stories will follow. Welcome back. Although the inclusion of taxes has become the main pillar of economic sustainability in Dominica, the economic team of the United Workers' Party, UWP, say they will remove some of these taxes if elected into government. The economic team, comprising economist Dr. Thompson Fontaine, attorney at law Joshua Francis, and UWP deputy leader Claudia Sanford, was addressing a press conference on Monday morning. Leader of the economic team, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, has suggested the removal of the current 15% value-added tax, VAT, on all basic items.
To immediately ease the hardship and suffering of thousands of our fellow Dominicans, the 15% VAT will be removed on all basic food items, medicines, school supplies, and children clothing. In addition, all custom duties on personal effects imported for the crucial barrel trade will be removed.
To kickstart the economy, Dr. Fontaine said the team will also accommodate the complete removal of duties and taxes on construction materials to realize a 50 to 60% reduction in the cost of construction.
A United Workers' Party government will kickstart the economy for the complete removal of all duties and taxes on construction materials, while also working to lower the cost of borrowing for financing for mortgages and construction projects. This will have the immediate effect of creating hundreds of new jobs as potential homeowners rush to take advantage of this situation.
The team, however, is aware of the adverse effects that the removal of VAT could have on government revenues, but is reassuring citizens that the party's efforts towards tax reform will be backed up by innovative action.
We will take a hit from the reduction in those taxes, but we are going to balance this off by growing the economy. We believe that for every $1 million in lost taxes, if you grow the economy by 0.2%, you'll make up for it. So by expanding the size of the market for our efforts in construction, in manufacturing, and elsewhere, we'll grow to the economy to the point where even if we allow those incentives, the revenues will be made up in the other areas.
The team also spoke of lowering VAT on accommodation in the tourism sector from 10 to 7.5%, the removal of transfer taxes, and a debt restructuring facility for hoteliers. Aspiring entrepreneurs are being urged to submit their applications as soon as possible for selection to possibly participate in this year's Waitukubuli Entrepreneurs Levy Well retreat. According to Martha Cuppy, Vice President of Well, the annual event, which is in its 5th year, will now be staged from October 15th to 21st, 2014, with 25 participants.
People can pick up application forms from various credit unions across the country, from Portsmouth, Calabishi, Marigot, Roseau and Girardel. And you can also download the application from the Well Facebook page. So people are invited to fill in the form, to really speak to what they're passionate about. Many people, I always encourage people just to apply, because the application process itself is a powerful way of saying, yeah, I want to do something different. I want to see what's happening in Dominica and be part of this young business environment.
Application must be submitted no later than October 3rd, to be followed by the interview process on October 15th and 22nd in Roseau and on October 17th in Portsmouth. Cuffy added the event is aimed at igniting the entrepreneurial flame in interested persons who will be exposed to useful information from successful entrepreneurs, previous Well Retreat graduates, and mentors. President of Well, Cheyenne Monell, said the participants will be fully engaged in and out of the classroom during the week-long retreat.
Once the retreat is done, contact doesn't just stop right there. The participants have access to the presenters and people like Sam and Martha and myself for just advice or encouragement, or even networking for their business operations. So well is not just the retreat or the reconnects. It's year-round. Once you're in it, it's pretty much that's your second family, so to say.
Meanwhile, co-founder of Well and owner of Jungle Bay Resort, Sam Raphael, said the participants will learn vital information for business operations, financial management, marketing, and staff.
And these are some of the issues that we often don't think about in terms of business, but at the end of the day, they determine whether we're successful or not. And you learn from people who have actually done it, not just the theoretical aspect, but you learn the hardcore from people who've done it. And we're delighted that several people, including, Elias and Tridell from 365, you were some of our stars, and we have a number of others in Dominica that have some sitting with us here that have successfully completed, and the leadership development that this opportunity brings, and the exposure and the contacts. We take you one day to the different banks and lending institutions, which is very important, and you get to meet the managers and the management staff and the loan officers that you will be talking to. But we prepare you for this.
Co-founder of 365 MMP, Elias Dupuis, is urging interested persons to apply, as the retreat is a worthwhile experience. Applicants can download the form from Well's Facebook page. The retreat will take place at the Jungle Bay Resort in Rosalie. Perpetrators of sexual offences in Dominica will be dealt with the fullest extent of the law. That is according to Assistant Superintendent of Police, Claude Wicks. In an interview with SAT TV, Wicks said these offences include rape, indecent assault, buggery, and incest. He made the statement following the recent release of a video on social media where an arrest was made of a young man from a northeastern village who forcibly allegedly engaged in the act of buggery on another young man.
What we can continue to urge our Dominican people is to be very vigilant, particularly with respect to our youngsters, our young ones who are more vulnerable and susceptible to those predators. We have to be very mindful. We've got to teach them, guide them, tell them what to look for and the possible signs of these people. Because remember, particularly our young people, many of them are unsuspecting. They are vulnerable and susceptible to so many things around them. So that is why it's so critical that as parents, as adults, as community people, that we teach them and guide them.
ASP Wicks said the police will continue to work with the organizations such as the Welfare Division and the Ministry of Social Services to minimize the impact of such outrageous and shameful activities. The senior police officer stated the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force will ensure their mandate to protect the public is fully enforced.
I must remind you that there are sentencing guidelines and procedures, policies with regard to sentencing someone. It doesn't necessarily have to be only around the Sexual Offences Act, but any offence of a person having been found guilty by a court of law, it is important that these sentencing guidelines are employed or brought to bear. I mean, the general public, you would hear all kinds of comments, and perhaps they will say castrate or do X or do Y. It doesn't happen that way. Sentencing must be done within the parameters of the law. So if the law stipulates a particular penalty, then the law must not go above that.
He said the penalties for sexual offences are adequate. However, the public need to be aware that the police role in such matters are only to investigate. However, the magistrates and judges hand down the sentences to the perpetrators.
Many people believe and they blame the police sometimes when, let us say, they see someone who would have been convicted of an offense, and shortly thereafter they're walking on the streets and they blame the police. The issue here is not seeking to blame anybody, but the police. That we only investigate. We prevent crimes, we protect life and property, we arrest people, investigate them, and then they have to be prosecuted, and the entity is responsible for handing down.
ASP Wicks added if the prosecutor does not prove its case beyond reasonable doubt, then the perpetrator of any crime can be acquitted. When we return, over 300 students inducted into Ross University. Welcome back. Over 300 aspiring doctors have been inducted into the Ross University School of Medicine. The class of 2018 was presented with their white coats following a welcoming ceremony at the university on Friday. Speaking at the ceremony, Dr. Nancy Selfridge, chair of the Department of Clinical Medicine at the university, shared the importance of the white coat ceremony with the new students.
Today is the last day that your white coat is going to be worn in celebration and ceremony. After this, it's your work clothes. So, what will it mean? Metaphorically, a cloak of healing, a garment of trust.
Dr. Selfridge told the students that their white coats now classify them as a part of a large team.
When you put your white coat on, it doesn't matter how aggravated, how frustrated, how tired you are. It doesn't matter any of that. You behave differently. You become benevolent. This repels all the snark, the stuff that's in you that really wants to be irritated at the world. You can't do that with your white coat on.
She added that they must be selfless and work towards the greater good of their patients. Meanwhile, Parliamentary Representative for Portsmouth and Minister for Tourism and Legal Affairs, Honorable Ian Douglas, assured the students of their safety on island.
And we can assure you that every single amenity is in place for your studies. It's a safe environment. We hardly have any incidents. And even when we have incidents, we have a police force and a security system and a justice system that is swift and very efficient. And you will find that you are very secure and you're very safe.
The Ross University School of Medicine has been operating in Dominica since 1987. Former Dominica Freedom Party DFP Senator Swanson Carbon has been laid to rest. On Saturday, families, friends, government officials and dignitaries gathered at Our Lady of Fatima Parish Church in Newtown for the official funeral. Dominican flags were flown at half-staff on all public buildings in the state in recognition of the former senator. Carbon, who was from the town of Portsmouth but resided in Walhouse, died on August 31st at the age of 68. Up until his death, Carbon was an executive member of the Dominica Freedom Party and played an integral role in political and community affairs. He was owner and managing director of Carbon Refrigeration Services Limited. President Charles Savre and First Lady Clara Savre, cabinet members, Speaker of the House of Assembly, members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps and other government officials attended the funeral. A number of individuals on Friday participated in a mass aerobic session ahead of Caribbean Wellness Day, which was observed on Saturday under the theme, Love That Body, Preserve It, Do Not Destroy It. Anthelia James, coordinator of the Health Promotion Unit, said the mass aerobic session was also aimed at encouraging individuals to engage in physical activity on a regular basis.
Physical activity is one of the main ways that we can keep ourselves healthy. And you are aware that in Dominica we have a lot of the chronic non-communicable diseases causing sickness and death in Dominica. And one of the main risk factors to chronic non-communicable diseases like diabetes and high blood pressure, heart disease and so is lack of physical activity, lack of exercise. So because these are our main diseases, and we have also realized that a lot of our population, especially the female population, are not being involved in regular physical activities.
James stated the Health Promotion Unit within the Ministry of Health has been hosting mass aerobic sessions since February of this year. It takes place on the last Friday of every month at the Roseau Bayfront.
We are encouraging persons within the workforce, both men and women, but especially our ladies who, we are a bit heavy, so we are asking persons to come out every last Friday, start to get involved in physical activity and, just begin to live a healthy lifestyle.
Caribbean Wellness Day is an annual event which provides an advocacy opportunity to increase the awareness of the non-communicable diseases (NCD) burden in the Caribbean, mobilize and strengthen public, private and civil society partnerships for addressing NCDs. It also aims to promote country intersectorial activities in support of health and wellness. The Ministry of Health is staging a month of activities in commemoration of Caribbean Wellness Day, which will come to a close on October 4th, 2014. This has been the local segment of the news.